Hi, so I'm just going to show you how to set up an Adobe Illustrator for the laser engraver to run a flat object. So this could be a block of wood, this could be plexiglass, something that you're going to cut through. So here I am, this is just opening up Adobe Illustrator for the first time. And if I hit create new, now I get the options for all the things that I could make. Now, there's a lot of presets. Really all I care about is I want this is my recent items. That's why things are set up this way. So right here, it might not say inches. It might say something different. You want to make sure that says inches because we're going to use that as the dimensions of the work bed of the laser. You're going to want to make sure your width is set to 24 and your height is set to 12. And this is regardless of the size of the object that you're making, because this is the dimension of the workspace on the laser itself. Now, what you do on the laser, you will place in the workspace, but this needs to match the dimensions on the bed. So now I'll hit create. And it takes a minute to load. Okay. So this is like I'm looking at the laser. The white space is like I'm just looking at the bed of the laser. Now if I hit Control R, that's Control on the bottom left of the keyboard, and then R, it brings up the rulers. And what I can do with the rulers, if I'm bringing in a piece of stock that's like 18 by 5, what I can do, this up here is 0, 0, but I can click on the ruler and drag from there. So if it's 18 inches wide, I can drag that to 18. It'll put a guide. And if I drag the top one down to 5, and you kind of have to figure it's halfway between 4 and 6. They don't label 5 with a number. So that is an 18 by 5 inch piece of material. So these are just guides so I know where my material ends. So then if I want to put in text, I can just put in that's the placeholder, but so I can put in the text. And then I can edit it just like I would with any other text. It would be on the right side here. Sometimes it doesn't show up immediately, so if you just click on properties, it'll be there. But you can change the font just like you could in a Word document, and you can change the font size just like you could in a Word document. Let me type in my own. As far as putting in pictures or graphics, you can put them in just like you would into like a PowerPoint, where you copy and paste it into the space. Now, the other thing you can do if it's a thinner material is you can make cutting lines. So let's say I wanted to have this if this was like a sheet of thin plastic or something like that, I can make a shape. And then what I do over here is I give it no fill, which is the white with the red X or red slash. And then for stroke, I give it a stroke, which is just an outline basically. I'll give it a color just for the sake of seeing it. And it just needs to be 0.001. This is an absolutely super thin line. It'll show up very not there. And that is a line that is going to get cut. So you can do that with any shape. So any line that's 0.001, the laser interprets as a cutting line. Any other line of any other sort, it's going to interpret as a image line. And an image line is just going to be engraved. The actual setup with the laser is done in a print window, and I'll have to show that in a different video. But in that window, you would tell it what it's going to do when it sees something like this text here, where you just want it engraved, versus something that you see as a vector. They call it a vector, which is a thin line, which it will cut. So with that is how you set up and lay out anything that is flat. Keep in mind, this is the full space of the work that the laser can work in. So if you center it to the document, it's not going to be centered on your workpiece. So I'm using the guides that I put in there to help me figure out where my where my piece of wood or material actually ends. All right, thank you for your time.